we'll get into your work and how you flip the script to traditional narratives within it. I mean, we kind of talked about it already, but I've had a chance to hoop with you in open runs and practices. Like I said before, this dude can jump out the gym, right? um, and but now you're a bit older. To see what you're actually doing. I've seen you on weekends. Now we're both a bit older. We kind of just do a bit more flexibility, more resistance exercises, which is good. You seem fit, healthy. But with the few conversations we've had, much of your career, like we talked about, is prioritizing healing and the internal balance.
Yeah.
Right. So for our Vibe audience and us too, let's attempt to flip the wellness script for our Vibers, shall we? So you mentioned about how you felt that. Let me think that there were certain things in place when you went through the traumatic experience that you went through that weren't necessarily as beneficial to your experiences. Can you kind of explain a bit about what those normative narratives or that normative approach is that's not as holistic as is what you've kind of needed at the time? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I guess just to be clear, like when I'm sharing my opinion, like it's not criticizing what is out there, because every single thing has its place. And what I found is everything has a place at the time of your journey. So as you progress through your journey, it changes. So, initially, like the traditional approaches were all that I was aware of: talk therapy, going to the GP, being prescribed with antidepressants, and I went through that process for a while, and I just want to stop there, and I just want to just pinpoint one thing, which is where I do have a strong belief that there are some things we just haven't got right yet as a civilization. I mean, there's lots of things we haven't got right yet, but I mentioned antidepressants, okay? And after, a certain amount of time of taking them, I stopped and I said to myself, this isn't depression. This is just an experience that you've been through that is, horrific. So the structures that were in place to support me were the same as what I would potentially have got had I just been feeling a bit low. Do you know what I mean? Or a bit stressed, or I, was overwhelmed with work or something like that.
Right.
So right there, like, we have literally got an epidemic of mental health struggles globally. And the options that people have and the awareness that people are exposed to is very, very limited. And I think that we could just do such a better job in providing educational resources and awareness building to not just people who have been through challenging experience, but people who are just navigating life, because life is fucking hard, man.
Right.
So that's why I stepped into doing the work I want to do. Like, I know it's worked for me and it might not work for others. For others, therapy and prescription drugs might be enough.
Right, because like you mentioned, everyone has their own journey, and I guess people respond to trauma differently, or some people aren't as impacted as others. It could be a different type of impact for different types of people, right?
Yeah.
So how it works.
But I think, it starts with making it. I use the word mental health, but a lot of the time, it's not just mental health; it's emotional health as well. They're two different things.
What would you say the differences are between emotional and mental?
For me, mental is way more like it's in my mind, all right? But and I have a perception, I have stories that I'm telling myself about life. That's mental, all right? But we also feel. We're human beings who can feel, right? And that's our senses, It's all the different senses we have. And emotionally, on a nervous system level, we can, how it works for me is like, I don't look at things as a top-down approach where I mean mind, body. I look at things as bottom up, body, mind. So body always comes first. So the physiology of the body, the somatics of the body. Then I think about the cognition, because all systems work together, right? But the basis is the homeostasis within the body, the physiology of the body being in balance. If that's in balance, then the signals it's sending to us somatically are more likely to be in balance. But what happens generally in life is we go through experiences that disrupt that somatic balance. Okay. Then from the felt sense of that, whatever that experience was that disrupted us, we then create a story. We attach a story to that feeling. And then the story is how we perceive the world. When actually, my story of what I went through, I was so fearful of everything. Reality was fear for me. But actually reality was exactly the same. I just changed. But I had a different lens and a different story. So to work through that, I had to come back into the body and somatically start processing and piecing things together. And slowly change the way my mind perceived things.
Right. It kind of resonates to me. So I was pulling up this. It's called the power threat meaning framework. I kind of write about this, and it resonates to what you were saying because it kind of helps. It helps develop narratives for your personal story. So, for instance, it's like it goes against medicalizing distress, like you mentioned about how antidepressants is not what you needed, right? And it's more about it's less about the biological, but it's more about both the interpersonal. And does that make sense what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you said, it's that holistic framing around distress. And like you said, we all have different approaches to it. We all respond differently to it, but it's about how we respond that's how we can kind of try to develop different ways of healing. Right. Is that kind of what you're kind of? Yeah. Okay. Got you. I just wanted to try to do it simplistic sum for other people, even though you explained it very well.
I get that all the time. Like no joke. Like I'll be, working with clients or just having conversations with friends. And I thought I was keeping it quite like high level.
No, you were. I'll be quiet as you were, but I just try to like really think about, okay, if it's not me, how can I explain it for other people who, even there's people who don't speak English as their first language as well that listen to me. So I try to get a bit more different. I just try to say it in a different way. It could be the exact same thing, but different words. Sure. So it's just for the audience and the vibers who are listening, just to kind of get more of a holistic understanding of it, right? Just to get, okay. But thank you. But you explained it perfectly to me.